Welcome to another video on my riding robot Mydfir with line following, active sonar and a buzzer for a color recognition, and well, one of the color recognitions because I have one here and one there, and for one side this buzzer goes off when a color is recognized on one side, and for the other side I have lights. Then to indicate that an object is close, this light goes off for this, and when an object is detected here, this light goes off. And this is the RF data link, RF for radio frequency, connected to this little board here, and it is wireless, not Wi-Fi, but radio frequency wireless. And yeah, it takes a little time, but who cares? So what happened recently is that things haven't been going too well, in the sense that the sonar hasn't responded too well, and I found out that the connectors were kind of maybe a little bit rusted, so I unplugged and replugged them, and that solved a problem. What hasn't been solved is the very faulty line following, and that is what bothers me, since line following is one of the major things of this robot. So it detects the line and then it loses it without correcting, and correcting is one of the things that it should do. Also, this buzzer goes off when it shouldn't go off. Also when it should go off, but well, if you have watched the previous video and the video before that, you know that it goes off on moments that it absolutely shouldn't. And I adjusted the software in the sense that now on screen it shows which sensor detects what and when, which is already a great help, because that it showed that this buzzer is a major culprit. Not that it doesn't work, but like I just said, it also does. It also works when it shouldn't. And that's odd, because it should behave as the algorithm is written. Then again, when it's software perfect, it always has some bugs, one or more. So that is the situation as it is now. So what I am going to do next is look at the software again and see if I can find the cause of all this misery. And then of course for test to test. So so much for the introduction, and let's actually do some more. So after this introduction, let's look at the code. this hasn't been changed, except that it is now clear what I'm looking at, either D1 or D2. D2 here. Then A1 I changed to green A1, which is a lot better. Here red A1, and finally blue A1. And what I also did is say color A1 to distinguish it for A1, since I have now two color detections. So this is going to be different A1. Different because it is different than all the values that I set it to recognize. Same for A2. And yes, I did this last time. So a little recap. Red A1, green A2, green A2, and blue A2. And then color A2 to distinguish that as well. So far. And yes, there's another thing, of course, that here it says the output to one of the lamps. Here it clearly says the output to the buzzer. This is the buzzer. And that is for 1 second. Here 3 times 1 second. And here 1, 2, 3 times, or 2 times 1 second and 3 times 1 second. And I wish I could do it shorter than 1 second, but if I do that I will have a problem. So let's just for trying, and I will lift it to prevent it from riding off the table. Ah, right. It's still connected to the charger, so let's connect it and fire it up. Yes, that is better. And now actually I should yes, that is a little bit of a point, because it should recognize a color before doing anything. So let me see if it does that. Right. That is 3 times, which is not correct, because I put half. I put the half with 1 time. So let's quit this and put the other ones at a half as well. See if that helps anyway. Those are nice tryings, of course. Since Python is an interpreter and you only find the problem in the code when it actually passes the condition and acts like it. If not, you won't find the problem. So let's do it again. Hopefully something happens. And actually this is A2. Well, that is shorter. So sleep half does do it. Okay, that is interesting. Yes, that is interesting. Can it do 0.25? I really was convinced that it couldn't do less than 1 second, but apparently, audibly, it can. So now I do it again. Yes, and please respond. I shift the color block actually in AccuPack to the other color sensor. Now back to A2. And it doesn't do anything. So I'm starting it again. It doesn't give an error, but it doesn't do anything either. Why is that? Alright. Okay. That's a quarter. So that works as well. Nice to know. So now with this change in sleeping time, I want to check something else which I just came up with, because how many times did it beep? I have a red colored AccuPack which I put in under the color sensor. However, it is bright red, and that is a very different red color than on the floor map. So that may not mean that it is recognized as the same, but how many times is it actually recognized? How many times does it beep? Because if it beeps different than 0.25 seconds, I may have to consider something else as well. Alright, those are Alright, that is something else. Did I forget to put some other value somewhere? Because it is short and the long in between. But this part of the code is the only part where I put output 7. And one other thing is that lower than 3 it gives no sound. So this is the softest I can make it to go. And let's view the others, 1 and 3, which are the motors, and that's about it. So with all that in mind, I think this improves also when I get over the color with very short beeps. If it is alright, it writes, and the color areas are just on a just have a determined square surface. They can't be made smaller, they can't be made larger, and the shorter the beeps are, the better it is. So let's get this as it is. What else can be done? Okay, let's stop this. Line following. Okay, no colors involved, just the black surface of the desktop right now. A1, A2. Oh, right. Yeah, the 11, that is one of the legs of the tripod on which the camera is mounted. So that's something else as well. But how about the line sensor? Oops, not this one. Line sensor. Ah, right. I commented out all the prints of the line, which doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just means that it doesn't print it. But I haven't the motors haven't worked yet, so that is first to go. Yes, time for floor test. So with this little change in code on timing, let's see what happens. I'm very curious. Now it would be very nice if it started writing. And let me improve the quality of the signal. And so far it doesn't do a thing. And that happened last time as well. Why is this? I don't like this at all. Why doesn't it even write? I didn't change the code for writing. Alright, so signaling works, correct or not, but well, as you can see, alright, so that works, kind of. This doesn't go as intended, but I guess you figure that. So let's try again. Alright. As you can see by the lights, the sonar does work. So why don't the motors react? Or respond anyway? This is very, very, very strange. Okay, then I put it on a car and see what happens. Three times. What is 3 times? Three times buzzer is blue. Well, that is anything but blue. It does say green. from color recognition 1, which is this one. Yes, on this side, not on this side. That's A1. Is that true? No, that is A1. Left side is A1. So let's see what green does. Short and long. Also not what I get. Something is really not doing what it should. Back to the code. So those were quite some oopses, but why do they occur anyway? It doesn't drive. The color says different, and that doesn't make sense at all, because I am using the exact same lighting as previously. Didn't change it. 3 lights, 3 exactly the same sources even. So how can it be that the colors are different? Let's go back. Well, here it says green, so it clearly recognizes it. And then suddenly A2 and A1. Oh wait. Maybe I have to change that. No, it says different here. It says different A1. So where does it say different? Different 64. Where do you say different 64? Not here anyway. Oh, here. Here does it say. So I should say here different A2. And probably here as well. Yes. A1. Alright, so I assume that this is different A2, this one, and this is different A1. So the problem is now that it doesn't recognize its color suddenly, which is a mystery to me. Next question, why doesn't it drive? Let's look at the line recognition. It says either stop, complete stop, because it doesn't see a line, and for the rest there's no reason it won't drive. And I know it drives because you just saw that I held a ruler in front of the sonar and it responded to that. So at least the motors work. So this doesn't make sense. None at all. Is it timing? No, because I have removed all timing like this. It said sleep for 5 seconds, but that hasn't been active in a long time. For a long time. But am getting a little clueless. I know daylight is different, it's cloudy, but for light sources, I mean for lamps that that haven't changed. So what's wrong? I honestly can't tell. The buzzer sounds like okay. On the other hand, what doesn't sound okay is that I should probably put sleep 25 after this one as well. So let's do that. Keep everything the same. Alright, so now everything is exactly the same. I'm not saying that that solves it, but hopefully the Morse like beep beep is solved now, hopefully. Let's just start it again and see what happens. So for the final part of this video, let's try some more. Starting the code again. That's not what I want. So you notice that things are not going as intended. And now it obviously, I don't know if you can see it, let me adjust the camera a bit. Two colors, three colors. And the three colors are coming from this side, which is barely on the red colored surface. And 2 is green. Well, I don't have to tell you that that is not green. So, does it make sense? Not really. The only thing that makes sense is that both the green light and the buzzer are doing exactly the same. They recognize green. Which means so much for the color detection on both sides. and leaving me with quite a few questions, which I can't solve now for this video, but well, enough to do next time. So for now, thank you for watching. If you like this video and my other videos, please subscribe to my YouTube. If you don't want that for some reason, you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and you may consider to make a small donation to support my blog. For that and for other info, please visit my website, which is listed under this video if you watch this on YouTube, or otherwise at the start of this video. And this is certainly going to be continued. With this odd behavior hopefully solved.